Hi, I'm Reverend Sheena, and welcome to Saturday Night Spiritual. We are here the second Saturday of every month, live all over social media, starting at Founders MCC's Facebook page. We also have a wonderful YouTube page and a fantastic website, foundersmcc.org. I'm Sheena Metal, and if you want to watch some other of the Saturday Night Spiritual broadcasts, you can go to RevSheenaFoundersMCC.com, and you can also go to our community page and get to know us better at SaturdayNightSpiritual.com. I'm honored to be the interfaith pastor here at Founders Metropolitan Community Church. June will be the 5-year anniversary of Saturday Night Spiritual, so we'll have to do something really special to celebrate 5 years of Saturday Night Spiritual. I think that's super exciting. And I am super excited always to be here with you every month and talk about something that's relevant to what's going on in our world, what's going on in the universe, and what's going on in our hearts and souls, which is probably the very most important place is our hearts and souls. I'm going to talk a little bit about this later, about our hearts and our souls and the correlation between the two, and where love comes from. I'm fascinated. Love to me is the most fascinating topic. I have a spiritual practice here in Los Angeles and beyond, and probably 90% of the questions that I get have to do with people's hearts, either in regards to romantic love, family love, grief, friendship, self-love, probably the most important love, right? I probably hear the word love 50 times a day, and probably again another 30 times a day. I say it myself. Love to me really is what fuels the universe and what fuels the earth. And of course, the most beautiful love, the most important love is the love that we get from God, from, as I like to say, spirit. Some people like to say goddess or higher power or the universe or great spirit or source. It's all right. Yes, the answer is yes. It's all right. They answer to all of that. But it is really about love and this beautiful thing called love. The crazy little thing called love, as Queen said, is such an important thing. But first, I like to talk, as I do every month, a little bit about interfaith spirituality, because I'm sure there are some of you who are still like, what's happening? What is the story? What does interfaith mean? MCC is a predominantly Christian denomination. Why are you here? What is this? What's happening? All the questions. Well, it is true that MCC is predominantly a Christian denomination. Progressive Christian, I believe, because very open to people of all faiths and all beliefs within their Christianity. I myself consider myself to be a Christian pastor, so, but I like to say Christian plus. I grew up, my mom used to say that she was the combination of a metaphysician and what she liked to call a teachings of Christ Christian, which meant she always was up for Jesus, not always up for some of the things that are done in his name. And I think that MCC does a beautiful job of really focusing on the message of Christ and what Christ brought to the world and to the universe, and not necessarily some of the rules and regulations that establishments have created. What my mama used to call a y'all come church. Everybody welcome, no matter who you are. And I think one of the main reasons that Pastor Keith Mazingo, our senior pastor, and I created Saturday Night Spiritual was to let folks know that maybe don't consider themselves Christians or don't consider themselves fundamentalist or evangelical Christians, don't belong to a particular Christian denomination. Some people don't lump Catholics in with Christianity, but of course Catholics are a part of Christianity, so Catholics as well. I think it's important to know that the message of Spirit, the message of God, is available to you whether or not you're indoctrined in a certain church. For instance, I have been a very spiritual centric person my entire life. But it wasn't until I was in my early 50s and found Founders MCC that I actually became a member of a church. As a matter of fact, I became an ordained minister before I became a member of a church. I was ordained through American Trinity University, which is a predominantly Christian university. But it wasn't until I found Founders that I really found the church where my heart belonged. I found a way to match the establishment of a church and my heart. And that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. Part of knowing how to feed your heart, how to feed your soul, how to bring love into your life is to identify the things that you love. And I, in my early 50s, thinking I would never belong to a church, walked in with my beloved darling, the late Reverend Steve Peters, and went to a Sunday service at Founders and found my home. So part of what love is home, right? Love is knowing that you're home, whether it's loving your house, loving your city, loving your country, loving your tribe of people that surround you. Love is finding your home, and I found my home here. The reason Saturday Night Spiritual exists and the reason it exists here at Founders MCC is so that you know, if you're watching this and you're not a regular person at Founders, you don't regularly attend Founders, or maybe just somebody on my social media who's catching this, you know that you're allowed to find the love of God anywhere you find it. And you don't have to necessarily belong to a church per se. Belong here. And that's what I think the main message that we try to convey through Saturday Night Spiritual is. If you're watching and what I'm saying is resonating with you and you're enjoying being here, then here is where you belong. And I know I say this every month, probably every month when I do this service, which is the second Saturday of every month at 5 o'clock Pacific. There are no prerequisites for belonging here. You're here simply because you want to be here. If you want to be here, then you belong here. Because that's how God works. If you want to take part in something that God is doing, then that is where God wants you to be. And as long as you're walking in the light, right? I always say, all roads paved in good lead us to the light. As long as you're walking down a path of goodness and you are walking in the light, then anything you want to participate with, Spirit is on board with you. Any message. So you can have grown up your whole life Orthodox Jewish, and then you happen to catch this on social media, and you like something that you hear. You like something that you see maybe in my eyes, or you like my smile, or you like my voice, or you like the things that I'm saying, and it makes your heart and your soul feel warm. Then you are right where you belong. It doesn't matter where the message is coming from. It's the message. And all of us that are messengers, and many, 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 many of us here on the earth are messengers in some way. All of us that are messengers. We're just throwing the message out there, and whoever it resonates with, it's who it resonates with. You know, it's like when you go to feed the ducks, right? There's a pond with a bunch of a park with a giant pond by me, and I'm living again in my childhood home at the beach, and I remember that pond from when I was a kid, driving by and being fascinated because there are hundreds and hundreds of mallard ducks and other ducks and pigeons and seagulls and swan and geese, white swan, black swan, everything you can imagine there. And there are people there just throwing out bread and seeds, and nobody's saying like, wait, this is only for the geese. Wait, if you're a swan, not for the swan. No, you're feeding, right? You're feeding the masses. And whoever is hungry will come. There's this guy my nephew follows on social media, the raccoon guy. Have you seen him? He goes out in his yard like a couple times a night with a giant tub of hot dogs. And now he's a YouTube influencer with millions of followers. So, he makes a lot of money. People send him gifts. And so that there's more food. And he just goes out there and he has, all kinds of different things, but usually a big giant tub of hot dogs. And the raccoons just come. He just throws the hot dogs out, man. Whoever wants a hot dog gets one, or in the case of any of these raccoons, gets to have 5. That's what it's like when you're a messenger. God doesn't want us to be a messenger just for one thing. Oh, only one person can hear this. No, it's a messenger for everything. The message is for everyone. And that's why I resonate so much with interfaith spirituality. And that's why I consider myself to be a practicer of interfaith, a devotee of interfaith spirituality, because there's no limits. It's by anybody and it's for anybody. It's for everybody. The audience is the world. The audience is the universe. The audience is humanity, not just specific people. Because there are so many things in our lives, irregardless of our regions, our financial status, our gender, our ethnicity, our religious affiliations, our ability, physical abilities. There are so many things that are just for all of us. So many messages are for everybody. So many things can apply to everybody. We are so much more the same than we are different. Case in point, we make such a big deal about men, women, and otherwise, right? Now there's men, women, and other kinds of identifications. But if you look at, let's just say men and women. Because there's been such a struggle for tens of thousands of years, right? If you look at a male and a female body, there are very few differences, and even on the inside, very few differences. Mostly we are the same. Most of our bodies, no matter how we identify on the gender spectrum, our bodies are the same, right? Our minds are the same for the most part. We all do the same things, right? We all go to sleep, we get up, we brush our teeth, we have to eat, we go to the bathroom, we want to be loved, we want to feel we're good at something, we've got to pay the bills, put a roof over our head. All these things, right, we all do these things. Yet we spend so much time focusing on how different we are, and that focus on difference, that pulling us apart, that putting us in tiny boxes where the boxes have very strong barriers and we feel like we don't belong. Those boxes, they just diminish the love. Because the wave of love that is supposed to envelop us 24/7 is not, we turn that love away. We shut ourselves off from that love. We tell God, I'm not feeling it and I don't want your love today. We tell other people, back off, I don't want your love. We are the ones that put up the barriers and the walls and the fences and the borders. And we don't just do it in the 3-dimensional world. We do it energetically too. We do it emotionally. We do it physically. We do it energetically. We do it spiritually. We do it mentally. We push away the outside and isolate ourselves. And we do it for protection. And we do it because we think it's safety. And we do it because human beings have a desperate need of definition, right? What am I? Am I a man or a woman? Am I a Christian or not a Christian? I mean, being of Irish descent, am I Protestant or Catholic? Am I able-bodied or not able-bodied? Am I mentally sound or am I not mentally sound? Am I a Democrat or a Republican? There's all these choices. And all of those things are such distractions from the main thing, which is I am love. Because let me tell you something. Your soul is all love. You 100% love from your soul. Your soul is where love lives. We think, oh, it's my heart. Oh, my heart. Oh, my heart. Well, you do have a heart chakra. But your heart's just a muscle. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful empathic muscle that makes all things more wonderful. But it's just an organ, you know? And the truth is, most of the things that we feel, most of the love that comes in through our solar plexus. It's our solar plexus chakra. Our heart chakra is beautiful, but it's not necessarily where the love comes from. The love comes through your solar plexus chakra. So somebody breaks your heart, right? What happens? You feel this pain in your stomach, right? You feel like you're nauseated because that's where the love comes. We think we love with our heart, but our heart is just a vehicle of our soul. You love with your soul, and you love on a deeply spiritual level. And everything else, right? Your emotional reaction to love, your intellectual reaction to love, your physical reaction to love. And we have all of those things. Those are just reactions. That's the manifestation of what you're feeling in your soul. And in your soul, that's where love lives. And where does that come from, the love in our soul? Well, it's given to us at the creation of our soul by God, by Spirit. Spirit bestows upon us this soul that is full of love. And then as we are birthed into the world as a living incarnate being, it's our responsibility to take that love that we're given and fill our hearts and fill our bodies and fill our minds with that love. That's our responsibility. We're given it. We bring it into the world. We're just here to fill ourselves up with it and then take our full vessel of love and share it out into the world with others. That's why we're here. You know, I have this little cat, and he's not making an appearance today on the show. Sometimes he comes to this, and he does my shows, and he does my services. He's not doing the service today. He's a little crazy today, so it's not wise. This little guy I've known since I was 3 days old, and he is, without a doubt, one of the best friends I've ever had in my life. And our animal companions don't complicate everything the way that people do. They don't have to complicate things. They just know the connection for them with the love of God is very pure. They know how to give love and how to receive love. And they don't do the same. You know, my mama used to say human beings were just smart enough to be dangerous. There's not all the doubting and the worry. You know, when this little guy wants to be held, he crawls up in my arms and he literally puts one little arm around my shoulder and one little arm around my neck. And then he just hugs. He presses his whole body against me. So I hold him like a baby with my hand here supporting him and one on the bottom. And then he just looks in my eyes. And let me tell you something. When that little guy looks in my eyes, there is nothing but love. I have never seen that much love in my life as I see in that little man's eyes. And it's all for me because animals know how to focus their love, right? It's not, oh, yeah, I love you, but I'm thinking about 20 other things. No, when they love you, they are loving you. And then it's hugs and it's kisses and it's snuggles. And then he goes on his way and does his thing. It's not like he's not constantly clinging to me and there's nothing in my life, but all day long, all I do is hug the cat, right? What's that, those videos on Instagram, right? I can't go to work. I got a cat on my lap. Well, it's tempting, but, it's not coming from him. If I can't go to work because there's a cat on my lap, that's on me. It's so easy to find time to love others. So here's this little guy, right? He's got a very full life of napping and playing and eating and using the cat box what seems like 1,000 times a day. Yet he also has all this time for love. It's easy to make time for love. Love is not taking away from your life. Love is adding to your life. Because love is connecting to your soul and finding this beautiful bastion of where all the love is. And the beautiful thing about God, one of the beautiful things about God, is that God will continue to refill your vessel. God will just keep bringing the love, because the universe and God, that's an unlimited source of love. I mean, love to the infinity sign, to the nth power. God is never going to run out of love. There's never going to be a time where you're going to tap into God and God's going to be like, oh, Sheena, I'm real busy today. Can you come back next week for some love? No, there's always love. We just have to tap into it. So because we get that infinite flow of love from God, if we just open up the door and let it in, there is an absolute infinite flow of love inside of us. We just have to let ourselves accept it. And because we have infinite access to an infinite amount of love, we then have an infinite amount of love to share with others. We just need to allow ourselves to receive it and then to give it. And I think because we think about how our hearts are broken and, things in life have messed us up, probably most likely other people. And, we say our hearts get hardened. We say I'm shutting off my heart. We say we become emotionally inaccessible, right? Not going there again. No more room in my heart for that. And it's true, your heart can break until it breaks, I developed an irregular heartbeat, intermittent atrial fibrillation, when my mom died. And I always like to say my heart broke until it broke. And it took me until, 3 years after her death, 3.5 years after her death, and some good medication to really get that under control. Because I didn't know how to live here without her. And my heart didn't know how to beat without her here. So there are side effects of heartbreak. And we do sometimes have emotional PTSD from heartbreak. But that's our physical body, and that's our conscious, incarnate, this lifetime on the earth memory. Our unconscious mind, our unconscious memory, and our soul have an unlimited well of love that will never go away. Because if it started to get drained, all we have to do is ask God for some more. So I think if you start to think about how you love with your soul, maybe it will become easier to accept love and to sort of override all those feelings of hurt and disappointment and that, emotional PTSD of what's been done to your heart before. Because no matter how much it hurts, all you have to do is tap into your soul. It would be like if you had a refrigerator where if you ran out of something or something spoiled, right? Another thing would just pop up. Here comes another thing. Oh, out of sour cream. Whoop, no problem. Here it is. That's kind of what God gives us, right? And that's what Spirit provides. Oh, I'm so tired. I can't go another day. Whoop, I'm up. All we have to do is ask. Ask and we shall receive, right? Ask and we Ask and it will be provided to us. But what do people pray for when they pray? They pray for more money, right? They pray for a hot husband. They pray for a bigger house. They pray for a faster car. They don't pray for love. They pray to have a relationship on this earth with someone in some respect, whatever that is that they want or need. But they don't, very rarely do people pray to have more love in their heart given to them by God. And I think that's the number one thing you should pray for. Dear Lord, please send me more love. Thank you, amen. Because with that love, to be fueled with that love, there's almost nothing that we can't do. When you are filled with love, you got this. And that's leading back to what I was talking about earlier during the service. That's one of the things that I love about interfaith spirituality, is that you don't only have all the love for your own peeps, right? The folks that go to your church, the folks in your community, the folks that share your denomination or your faith, but you also have love for everyone else. You have love for people who go to a place of worship that maybe you've never been, or follow a religious doctrine you've never read, or celebrate a holiday you've never celebrated, maybe you don't even know about. But you still consider them to be part of your tribe. They are your universal peeps. You still consider them to be part of what's going on with you. That you realize that their loves and their wishes and their hopes and their causes and their successes are also yours. And when they are hurting, or they're having a failure, or they feel like they're not enough, you're here to step in and lift them up. That's the number one thing of interfaith spirituality is, I love everyone. We all are love. Therefore, we all love each other. And I've got your back. And I know you have my back. Now I know there are people there saying right now, you're watching this and you're like, oh, Reverend Sheena, what about those people that don't have my back? What about bad people? What about people who don't walk in the light? What about people who don't give love back? Yes, 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 and yes. All those people exist. And I'm sorry. But I can't focus on them. They're not our team. So I can't spend all my time worrying about who's not accepting love and who's not being loving towards others. Because as human beings, we do this weird thing. I always say that if you're driving down the road and on one side of the road, somebody has a sign that says free flowers and they're holding daisies. And on the other side of the road, there's a car accident. 95% of the people will swerve over to the left and look at the car accident before they'll go over and get a free flower. Because as human beings, we're a little macabrely obsessed with the negative. So if you have, and I see this in my spiritual practice all the time, if you have 20 friends that are amazing and one friend that is continually trouble with you, you will spend a huge percentage of your time trying to figure it out, work it out, make that person like you, make them try to act like a good person, make them try to be better to you. You know, what's that phrase? The definition of crazy is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Yet here's your 20 other friends that are amazing. It's like, yeah, I'll call you guys in a week because this person, that's what we do. We focus. So if you're a person who's doing that now and you're sitting here saying, I hear what you're saying, Reverend Sheena, but what about all the bad people? The answer is, this is your Valentine's Day challenge. Don't feed the dark. We're not giving any energy to any of the people who have done the X, Y, and Z things to you that hurt you. We're filling ourselves with love. And in doing so, we are taking that love and we are sharing it with those most importantly and specifically ourselves that need that love to become someone who contributes more on the earth. We're feeding us and we're feeding others. In essence, we're watering our own garden so that not only ourselves, but also all the members of our garden, all the people of the world that do good for others, can grow up big and happy and do more good in the world. Now, we're not going to live in la la land and la 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 and pretend that there's nothing negative that exists, because that's just silly, you know. You don't go into the water bleeding, dressed as a seal, and expect that you're not going to see a shark. But the sharks, unfortunately, are a part of the ecosystem, as are we, and they belong in the ocean as much as we do. The universe is a balance of light and dark, so there are things in the universe that are negative, and that's part of the universe. So we're not going to focus on it. We're not going to make ourselves vulnerable to it, but we're also not going to pretend it doesn't exist. So now I've said that, for all of you that were sitting here thinking, that Reverend Sheena, she's always so positive. She doesn't have any idea what's really going on in the world. No, trust me, I do. But I'm choosing to focus on what's going on that's positive in the world, because that is how we grow the love. And what is it Martin Luther King Jr. said? Hate will not drive out hate. Only love can drive out hate. So the way you grow the positive is you don't focus on how can I get rid of the bad people. You focus on how can I grow the love within me? How can I grow the love of others? How can I help people to be happier? This is the best Valentine's gift you will ever give yourself. You will ever give to others. How do I grow the good? But in order to get out there, in order to get your act together and take it on the road, so to speak, you have to grow the love within you. And you do that by realizing that you love with your soul. Your soul has infinite power. We may have a limited emotionality. We may have a limited intellect here. There's 90% of our brains we don't know how to use. We definitely have limited physicality because except for a handful of us on the earth, we've all got things, right? Oh, that hurts. And, oh, that hurts. And, oh, that's, we've all got stuff. But our souls are the strongest thing about us. Our souls have an unlimited capacity to receive love and to give love. And that's what Valentine's Day is about. Is it about, I bought somebody a dozen roses? Well, it can be. It's a great, if you are in that situation and you are so inclined, it is a beautiful romantic day and you can make it all that you want it to be. But you could also buy flowers for a friend. You could pass flowers out on the street. You could buy things for your coworkers. Remember we were kids and we'd get that bag with the Valentine's hearts in it? And they were the little envelopes and they were the little weird little inexpensive Valentines. And you do one for everybody in your class. So Valentine's Day would come. I remember, I don't know what grade I was in, but it was definitely early elementary school. And they had us make and decorate these boxes. So we basically took construction paper, decorate it however we wanted. And then we all put one on our desk. And everybody came into the class and put Valentines in our box. And 30 kids in a class, you got 30 Valentines at the end of the day. And sometimes somebody's mom would like tape a piece of candy or a lollipop to them. That was my favorite. Sometimes they would be fancier, less fancy. I bet now they have gift cards in them. I bet kids come to school and there's a $2 Starbucks or something in everybody's little card. But in the 70s, we were very simple. If you got a pack of Lifesavers, it was the best day ever. And you just received, right? And it felt so good to sit there and sit down with your mom or your dad or grandma, or whoever, and make out all those Valentine's cards. And then you take them to school in your little sack with such pride because you were going to give a Valentine to everybody in the class. Well, you could do that at your work. You could still go get those little things. They're just like probably like, what, $5 for a bag of 50 or whatever. It doesn't have to be something fancy. It's just something that says, I care about you. Maybe get a bag of lollipops and put one on everybody's desk. It can even be anonymous. Put little things on your neighbor's doors. I love it. 4th of July time, somebody comes and puts those little flags in my yard. I love that. I keep those flags. The next year, I have more. Just do something nice for the world. Make a little donation to a charity that you love, or do a little extra something at church. Leave a donation at your favorite church. Leave one here. Help us to help you to help others. You can text 77977. Go to foundersmcc.org. Be thankful for this service today. Leave a little something for a great little church that helps a lot of people. Go collect some little hamburgers or hot dogs or something and run them around to some homeless folks. Happy Valentine's Day. Here's a cheeseburger. One of the most wonderful gifts that we have is the ability to give to others. And I'll go back to my little guy. His favorite thing are those little tiny pom-pom balls. It's like the thing. Cullen loves little balls. And I have to keep buying a continuous supply of little balls because he'll play with them for a while and then he'll hide them. So when I remodel my living room, family room, I know they're going to lift every piece of furniture up. There's going to be 150 balls under there. But he loves little balls. I even got a little gun, a little plastic gun that shoots the little balls like farther than I can throw them so he can go long. He loves these little things. And he brings them to me all day long. I wake up in the middle of the night, I get up to go to the bathroom, I come back and there's like 10 balls where I was sleeping. Because he thinks, oh, I'm bringing my ball and then we can play. So he goes and he roots around like an Easter egg hunt and he finds these balls and brings them to me. My first cat, she was very feralish. She used to cut cricket. She would get a cricket. I know it's bad luck, but you couldn't convince Erin it was bad luck. She would bite the cricket in half. And then she would walk up while I was eating breakfast and she would spit half of the cricket into my cereal bowl. And then just look at me beaming like, look what I got us. And I got you half. There's a pack mentality, a tribal mentality, right? That animals have, that our animal companions have. And we need to get so much better at that. Hey, I have something. Here's some for you. You know what I did today? I made cookies. So here, I'm going to give some to the neighbors. We're so worried now that this big, scary, technological, insane world is going to take away everything from us. Our money, our time, our loved ones, our individuality. That we've forgotten what it was like just to share. What it was like when the neighbors would all come over and just bring us some Christmas cookies. Valentine's Day can be that day. It's a day of giving love. Make a list tonight when this is over. Here's your homework. Make a list of everybody that you're going to call, text, email on Valentine's Day. And just say, Happy Valentine's Day, I love you. Or Happy Valentine's Day, you matter to me. It can be anybody. Anybody that matters to you. It can be the person that cleans your house, your gardener, your doctor, mechanic, the barista at the Starbucks that is so great to you. Every morning when you walk in there cranky looking for your coffee. Friends, neighbors, family, loved ones. We need to make a mark of love. What if, when you died, what mattered to God when you went home, and I believe this is what matters, is how big is your trail of love? Maybe it's not, did you sin? Did you do this thing that a religious doctrine told you not to do? Or is what you did the measure of your life? What kind of trail of love? What imprint did you leave on the earth? What imprint of love did you leave behind you? Maybe that's what it's all about. I remember having a discussion with my mom once about the true nature of evil. And I'm going to say something really controversial right now, so forgive me. I said, what if it's not about, did you murder someone? Not that you should murder someone. But maybe the true measure of evil, the thing that would, if you believe in such, send you to hell, is that in your entire, however many decades you're here on the earth, you do nothing except think about yourself, withhold your love, not share with others, and not do anything to help anyone else. What if that is the true definition of darkness? Complete and utter selfishness. And what if at the end of the day you go home and whatever kind of evaluation is waiting you, whether you believe it's a tribunal or it's an energetic, your life passes before you, or it's St. Peter sitting at the pearly gates. What if when you get home and your time here is evaluated, and trust me, it is, the measure of your life is how much love did you give, receive, share, and what kind of love did you leave on the earth? What if that's it? How much did you take the love in your soul that's there no matter what, because God gives it to you, and how much of it did you share with others? What did you do? Did you give to your favorite charities? Did you donate to your church? Did you make offerings? Did you help somebody who needed help? And what kind of mentality do you have that goes with that? When I was very young, my first TV show, we had an endorsement by many places, but one of them was Tommy Burgers. And unlike the pizza from Pizza Hut that didn't reheat that well, I think we all agreed that nobody needed a refrigerator full of old Tommy Burgers. And they would give us, cases of them. So at the end of the night, when everybody had eaten and taken whatever they wanted, I would drive around with one of the folks from my cast, and we would pass them out to homeless folks. And 2 if they had a dog, because I always like the folks that have the dogs. Because when you have nothing, but still what you're thinking about is how can I take care of my animal child, you're my kind of people. And sometimes people would say to me, oh my God, were you scared you were going to get killed? I was scared I was going to get killed. I was bringing chili burgers. I had a case full of Tommy Burgers in the car. It never occurred to me I was going to get killed. All I could think of was all of my actors and I, all us starving artists, we just literally filled our bellies with food. At that time, it was Ralph's, it was Pizza Hut, it was Tommy Burgers, and it was Western Bagels. So we were all full of carbs. And all I could think of was, would somebody else like these burgers in their bellies? Were you worried you were going to get killed? No. Sometimes people worry, you worry what people are going to think of you if you get them a Valentine? No. I've had people say to me, do you worry what people think of you if you say I love you to people on Facebook? No. There is no limit for how much you can love and how much you can be loved. It doesn't exist. Your soul has an unlimited capacity for love, given to you by God, who has an unlimited capacity to love. There is no limit on love except for those limits that we as human beings self-impose upon ourselves. We limit the love. We close the channel. We lock the door. We say, I'm not buying what love's selling today. We do that to ourselves. And then we sit in a corner and somewhere and cry because we don't have any love. We all have things that we can do. There are always ways to do things if you think about how you can bring more love to the world. And think of everything as love. There's a lady on the Nextdoor app. I love the Nextdoor app. I do adopt things from there. And throughout her life, she has made all these homemade holiday things, and she's a brilliant artist. And now she's decided she's sending out her holiday stuff, so she gives stuff away on the Nextdoor app. And I have some of her stuff as in my holiday stuff now. Some Halloween, some Thanksgiving, and some Christmas. My God, they're beautiful things that she made herself. And when you go pick them up, she tells you, oh, you know what this is? This is just a box I got here and I added this. You can't buy that in a store. This lady made it with her soul. How beautiful is that? Now, when I have things I don't want or need anymore, Nextdoor app, somebody wants them. Oh, just throw that stuff in the trash. No, share. It's loving. Share with people. Oh, you got all that extra food, just throw it away. No, share. Love. Say nice things. Scroll through Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever at night. Send people hearts. Send people prayers if they need them. Prayer signs. Smiley faces. Stars if you think they're a rock star. Laughing emojis if they're being funny. Let's support each other. Tiny little bits of love. It's nothing. It takes no time. It costs no money. Take some of that unlimited love that God dumps into your soul and share it. Because guess what? When there's a hole, God will give you more. There's so much love. Love is a spiritual concept. People think it's an emotional concept. It's a spiritual concept. Love relationships are a soul tie, whether they're romantic, whether they're platonic, whether they're familial. It's a soul connection. When you love with your soul. Valentine's Day is a day about your soul. Who gets you with the arrow? Cupid. Cupid's an angel. Valentine's Day is a spiritual day, and the mascot is a little angel. Love and love and love and love. I was going to call this sermon today, Love, Love, Love. And I was just going to keep saying that, which I think I kind of have. But then I remembered that people sometimes don't know where love comes from. Where your love comes from. It comes from your soul. If you would like to make an offering today and help us to help you to help others, Founders MCC is a wonderful organization with helping the community. You can go to foundersmcc.org and do so on the website, or you can text 77977. Make sure to tell them you like this service a little. So we can keep going here. So we can make it to 5 years in June. We're going to do something spectacular. I swear we are, Pastor Keith. If you want to find me, SheenaMetalSpiritual.com, or text me. I love that. I love getting to know you. 818-437-0886. Both my phone number and my email are on my website, sheenametalspiritual.com, and I'm all over social media, just at Sheena Metal. We have wonderful, foundersmcc.org is our website. We have a fantastic YouTube page and a Facebook page, which is very active and wonderful and informative. We have a community page for Saturday Night Spiritual at SaturdayNightSpiritual.com. And I put together a page that you can go to and watch past services. It's RevSheena.FoundersMCC.com. You can also find links to all that on my website. Next month, it'll be probably the St. Patrick's Day. I'll have to say something about the spirituality of the Irish, being an Irish person. I'll work on that. The second Saturday of every month at 5 o'clock Pacific time. Until I see you then, seek peace, live in love, lead with kindness, embrace unity, always work to raise your vibration, and most importantly, know that you are love and you are loved, and you're so loved by me. And you know I always like to end with a poem, and I will again today because I love it. This one's called Spiritual Love from Dr. Shamin Ali. Spiritual love, a love that transcends beyond the physical, it never ends. A connection to something greater than self, a shared understanding, a spiritual wealth. A love that of purpose and a bond that lasts forever. A desire for growth, a journey of the soul, interconnectedness, a profound role. Unconditional acceptance, compassion, and respect for others' journeys we must reflect. Trust, honesty, and mutual understanding, the foundation of spiritual love, is expanding. Not limited to romance, but also between friends, family members, and strangers, love extends. A love that sees beyond the physical, connection on a deeper spiritual level. Spiritual love is a divine gift, a love that uplifts, a love that can shift, a love that brings peace, joy, and bliss, a love that is eternal, and a love that persists. My love for you is never ending. I'm Reverend Sheena Metal. I'm the interfaith pastor here at Founders Metropolitan Community Church. To send us an offering, text 77977. I love you all, and I'll see you next month. Take care. Happy Valentine's Day.